I'm Shark's sister. Thanks for watching her video. I'll read A to Z Mysteries, The White Wolf by Alon Roy. W is for wild. The kids knelt and peered down into the dark layer. What if the mother wolf is down there right now? Josh asked. Suddenly they heard a wolf howl. All three kids jumped back. Run, yelled Josh. She's not down here, Arthur said. Look. The mother wolf was standing on top of the pile of boulders about 100 yards away. She was watching the kids rub her ears, standing straight up. There is a wolf in here, said the boulders. So let's read our stories. A to Z Mysteries on location in Mount Desert Island. Rich Man's Island. This one looks like a bit of papaya. This one looks like mangoes. Oh, cliff path. Wolf Den. Wallace Cabin. Maine. Mount Desert Island. Seal Harbor. So let's read our story. Chapter 1. There he is, said Ruth Rose. She pointed at the sky. There were small seaplane was getting ready to land. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were standing on pier in Essex, Connecticut. It was a warm summer morning, and Ruth Rose were dressed in lavender from her headband down to her sneakers. Even her sneaker laces were lavender. It's so cool that planes can land on the water, Dink said. His full name was Donald David Duncan, but everyone called him Dink. As the kids watched, the seaplane touched the top of the water. Small rainbows formed as water shot into the air. Then the plane piloted toward them. I see Walker, Josh said, waving at the plane. Walker and Wallace's brother. Wallace was a famous mystery writer. The kids had met at the Walker when they came to Connecticut. Then the kids have visited Wallace at her castle in Maine. Walker waved at the taxi to the seaplane to the end of the pier. Hi guys, he said, grinning. Ready to fly? We sure are, Josh said. He, Dink, and Ruth Rose grabbed her backpacks. Hand me your stuff, and I'll help you climb aboard, Walker said. A few yards away, Dink's mother tooted her car horn. Dink waved and watched his mother drive away. When the kids were all inside the plane's cockpit, Walker showed them how to fasten their seatbelts for the ride. This will be a short flying, Walker said. When the kids were all buckled up. We'll be in Acadia National Park before you know it. Mount Desert Island is part of the park. Cool, Ruth said. All right, here we go, Walker said. He taxied the seaplane away from the pier. In just a few seconds, they were airborne. We'll be flying over the water water the whole way, Walker said. You should see plenty of boats, maybe even a whale. The kids kept their eyes on the water as Walker flew north. They didn't see any whales, but they did see thousands of birds and a lot of small islands. We're over Maine now, Walker said after about a half hour. Mount Desert Island is right below us. It really looks beautiful, Dink said. Everything around is so green. It's gigantic, Josh said. It almost looks like a dinosaur's head with his mouth open. Ruth Rose commented. Where's your cabin? Dink asked. Look right where the dinosaur's nose would be. Walker said. He pointed out the window. See that little harbor? It's called Seal Harbor. Our cabin is about a mile from where I'll be landing. The plane zoomed down, then levels off. A few minutes later, the kids' pontoons touched down the water with a swoosh. Walker piloted the plane toward a long wooden dock. The kids stood there. Walker piloted the plane toward the long wooden dock. The kids saw their friend Wallace waving at them. Next to her on the dock was a smiling girl with long dark hair. She was sitting in a wheelchair, waving. Who's that with Wallace? Rose asked. That's Happy Wallace, Walker said. Wallace is a prize for you. A minute later, Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were standing on a dock with their backpacks. I have to fly some fishermen and women to a camp farther north. Walker told the kids as he got back in the plane. I'll see you guys tonight. Hey, welcome to Mount Desert Island. Wallace called as she ran towards them. Hi, Wallace, the kids shouted. Then each gave her a hug. Grab your stuff and follow me, she said. Wallace led them up the dock and stepped in front of the girl in a wheelchair. Abby, these are my friends from Connecticut, Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose, Wallace said, pointing to each of them. Meet my daughter, Abigail. She liked to be called Abby, with an I. Josh stared at Wallace. You never told us you had a daughter, he said. Abby laughed. Mom just adopted me a few months ago, she said. Abby's parents died a few years back, Wallace explained. I heard about Abby from a friend, so I invited her and some other kids to the castle for Christmas. Wallace grinned at her daughter. After I knowing Abby for only an hour, I knew I wanted her in my life permanently. That is so awesome, Ruth said. How old are you, Abby? Almost 13, Abby said. How about you? We're all, we're all almost 9. Dink put in. She shook Abby's hand. Why are you in a wheelchair? He asked. I have spina bifida, said Abby. What's that? Josh asked. Before I was born, when I was still inside my birth mother, my spine didn't look right. Abby explained to the kids, so my legs don't work. I have to use a wheelchair most of the time. Well, Bo, you know that you've all met. Let's let's go. Let's get home. Wallace said. If I know these these three kids, they're hungry. She started walking towards the parking lot. Josh sure is, Dink teased. His stomach is growling so loud, Walker thought there was a wolf in the plane. There are wolves on this island, Abby said. I've seen them through my telescope. Wolves? Josh gulped. Really? Wallace stopped next to the red van. She clicked a remote, which opened a door and lowered a ramp. Abby wheeled her chair up the ramp into the van. That's so cool, Rose said. Wallace unlocked their doors, and kids piled in. Rose and Josh sat in their rear with Abby, and Dink sat up front with Wallace. They drove along the road lined with tall pine trees. Pretty branches, Dink thought, glimpse of sky and water. After a few minutes, Wallace pulled off the road onto a bumpy driveway. There it is, Wallace said, pointing to a long, shady cabin. She parked next to a flagpole flying an American flag. The low building nestled beneath sweet-smelling pine trees. Wooden steps led up to a roof deck that circled the entire cabin. Beside the steps was a ramp that stopped it up to the deck. I love your house, Rose said as they got out of the van. It's so cool and quiet in here. I usually wheel myself up the ramp, Abby said, but it's more fun to have someone push me. I'll do it, Josh said. He guided the wheelchair to the wooden ramp with others following. Do you want to see the wolves? Abby asked. Where are they? Josh asked. He looked around the deck nervously. Over here, Abby said. She guided her wheelchair across the deck to a telescope. Take a look, but don't jiggle it. Don't jiggle it. I have to set it right on the wolf's lair. Lair. Josh walked over to a telescope, squinted one eye, and peered into the lens. All I see are rocks and bushes. Keep looking, Abby said. I saw the wolf just before Mama and I went to meet you guys. Josh kept his eye on the telescope lens. Suddenly he jumped back. Holy moly! Holy moly! He shouted. What? Dink said. He and Ruth Rose hurried to join Ruth. He and Ruth Rose hurried to join Josh and Abby to the telescope. I just saw a gigantic white wolf, Josh said. Chapter 3. Dink and Ruth Rose looked into the distant trees, trying to see the wolf. All I can see are some rocks, Dink said. The wolf is white. The wolf is white, so she blends in, Abby said. You need the telescope. Josh backed away, and Ruth Rose took his place at the telescope. Oh my gosh, she breathed. It's beautiful. Can I look? Dink asked. Ruth Rose stepped back, and Dink peered into the telescope. I see it, he said. Suddenly, they heard a wolf howling. Everyone jumped, and Abby started to laugh. I recorded the wolf's voice, he said. She pointed to a small tape recorder on a table. Next to it was a box of labeled cassetters. Dink read cassettes. Dink read a few of the labels. Raccoons, frogs, crickets, squirrels, birds, chipmunks. You recorded all these animal sounds? Dink asked. Abby nodded. It's my hobby, she said. I've been trying to record seals, but they never seem to make noise when I'm around. Do you have seals here? Josh asked. Abby nodded. A bunch of them live on a rocky island out there, she said, pointing toward the front of the cabin. That's why this is called Seal Harbor. Abby replayed the wolf's howl. That sounds lonely, Ruth said. Abby nodded. She could be lonely, she said. She might miss the rest of her pack. How do you know the wolf is a girl? Asked Dink. Abby grinned. Because she has 3 babies, he said. Let me see, Josh said, put his eye on the telescope again. I don't see any babies. I've only seen them a couple of times, Abby said. Josh let Abby have another look. The cubs are there, she said. They're lying right next to the mother. The white fur blends with her in her eyes with hers. Josh looked again. Guys, I see them, he said. Ruth rose. Then Wallace peered into the telescope. Dirk grinned and said, Ooh, aren't they cute? When it was Dink's turn, he laughed out loud. The plump baby wolves were cuddled next to her mom, playing with each other's tails. Who wants lunch? Wallace asked. I do, said Josh. Abby leaned over to a panel near the door and pushed a button. Immediately the door opened inward. Cool, huh? She said. All the doors operated that way, Wallace said. I bought this cabin because the previous owner was also in a wheelchair. The kids followed Wallace and Abby inside. The living room has a braided rug on the floor. All the chairs and sofas looked soft and comfortable. A stone fireplace looked up nearly on wall. Shelves, shelves on both sides on the fireplace. Fireplace held books, board games, and seashells. To the left, to the left of the to the left of the fireplace were what were white glass doors with a view of the sky, ocean, and islands. This place is awesome, Josh said. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, I'll show you. I'll show you where you're sleeping. Then we'll eat. Alice told them. Ruth rose. Why don't you like to share my room? Abby asked. You can have the top bunk. Right, I'll follow you, Ruth said. You two have a treat. Alice said, Think and Josh. Come on. She led the boys through the glass doors. They followed her around to a different side of the deck. Oh my gosh, Josh said. A tent has been right on the deck. Under the roof, inside the tent were twin beds, a small table with a lamp, and a rug on the floor. It was Abby's idea. She thought you'd enjoy falling asleep listening to the waves. Wallace said, You might even hear the seals. It's excellent, Dink said. Thanks for going so much trouble. No trouble at all, Wallace said. Get settled. Then come back to the kitchen when you're ready. The boys entered the tent and chose beds. Isn't this cool? Dink said. I guess. Just said. What's wrong? Dink asked, emptying his pack onto his cot. What if the wolves come up here? Alice asked. Or even bears? Wolves and bears don't eat people, Josh, Dink said. Yeah. What do they eat? Just then, they heard Abby yell from the deck. Mom! She shouted. Dink and Josh pounded out of the tent and toward the corner. They saw Abby sitting with one eye pressed up against a telescope. Ruth Rose and Wallace came running from the other direction. What's wrong, honey? Wallace asked. Somebody took the baby wolves, Abby cried. Took them? What do they mean? Wallace asked. How could anyone take them? I saw it through the telescope, Abby insisted. A man and a woman grabbed the puppies. Chapter 4. The Rose bent over and peered through the telescope. She shook her head. I don't see any wolves at all, she said. Not even the mother. But the mother wasn't there, Abby said. She might have gone to look for food. Wallace looked at Abby. What exactly did you see, honey? Abby Abby had tears in her eyes. A man and woman stuck the puppies into a cage. Wallace gave Abby a hug. "Let's go inside and call the police," he said. The four kids followed Wallace into the kitchen. The table was set with bread, sliced meats, cheese, and big green salad. Wallace walked to the wall phone, where she had tipped a list of emergency numbers. She dialed and waited. "Hello, police department," she said. "This is Wallace. On Seal Harbor. My daughter Abby just witnessed 3 baby wolves being stolen." "No." "Being stolen?" "No." She saw it through her telescope from our cabin. Wallace paused, said, "Thank you," then hung up. The police are sending a game warden out to talk to you, she told Abby. "When?" Abby asked. "They have to catch them fast. These babies need their mother to feed them." The officer I spoke with said that game warden should come right away. Wallace said, "So let's all have some lunch while we wait." They were halfway through their sandwiches when they heard a jeep pull next to Wallace's van. A woman wearing a brown uniform stepped out. She had a badge that said game warden over her shirt pocket. The woman was holding a small tape recorder. "Please come in," Wallace said when they're all seated. The woman smiled at the kids. "I'm Nadine Banks. Which of you is Abby?" "Abby," she asked. "I am," Abby said. Do you mind if I tape this interview?" Nadine said. "Please tell me exactly how you saw through the telescope." Abby told Nadine how she had been covered them a couple of weeks ago. "It was just a moment first," Abby said. Then one day, I saw the babies come out of the ladder. It was so exciting." "I bet it was," Nadine said. "I knew about the white wolf, but I didn't know she'd had puppies. Go on, Abby." "Then today, I was watching while my mom made lunch," Abby said. "The mother wolf was gone for a while, and the babies were sleeping in the sun. Suddenly, a man and woman grabbed the babies and stuck them in a cage. In a cage. Can you describe the man and woman?" Nadine asked. They were only a couple of minutes," Abby said. "They both wore t-shirts and shorts and baseball caps, but she had a long blonde ponytail. It stuck up back of her cap." "Good. Did you notice anything else?" Nadine asked. "No. After I put the puppies in the cage, the people left," Abby said. "My telescope was turned just on the ladder, so I couldn't see where they came from or when they went." Nadine shut off her tape recorder. Taking animals out of Acadia National Park is illegal, she said. I don't know if we'll catch this too, but we'll try. Thank you for reporting that you saw Abby. Nadine left, promising to be back in touch if she learned anything. I wish we could do something, Abby said as the jeep pulled away. Could Walker look for tips from his plane? Roosevelt asked. What a great idea, Wallace said. She picked up the kitchen phone rang. Oh, kitchen. She picked up the kitchen phone again. Wallace dialed, listened, and said, Walker, this is Sis. Call home as soon as you get this message. Abby was at her telescope, and she saw a man and woman steal those baby wolves, both in shorts and caps. The woman had blonde hair. Wallace hung up the phone. I'll get this voicemail, he said. Don't worry, honey. Your uncle is always good about checking his voice messages. Abby backed away from the table and wheeled herself out of the deck. Dink, Josh, and Rose helped Wallace clear the table, then walked out themselves. They found Abby peering through the telescope. I saw the mother come back, Abby said. She sniffed the ground and went into her lair. Maybe she would go up there and investigate, Rosewood said, looking toward the woods. Out where? Josh said. To the wolf's lair. Rose answered. We might find some clues. Would you? Abby asked. Josh froze. What if the mother wolf thinks we took her babies? She said. Wolves are afraid of humans, Abby told Josh. If she sees you coming, she'll hide until you leave. How do we get there? Dink asked. Abby pointed toward a slight clearing in the woods behind the cabin. I think there's a sort of trail in the trail there. She said, if you follow it uphill, it should go pretty close to where the wolves live. But what if the trolls step and leap somewhere else? Josh said, we could get lost out there. Abby made room for Josh at the telescope. See that big dead tree behind the rocks? She said. Yeah, I see it, said Josh. If you get lost, just come up and find the tree. Abby said, coming back, look at our flagpole. I say let's do it, Rooster said. She looked at Dink and Josh. Dink nodded. Josh gulped. Okay, let's hit the trail, he said. The kids lifted Chapter 5. The kids left the deck, passed Wallace's van and the flagpole, and walked into the trees. They turned and waved to Abby, who waved back. This looks like a trail, Dink said, looking down. The kids kept their eyes on the ground as they moved deeper into the trees. Soon Abby and the cabin were out of sight. The land was level. The land was level from the first few minutes, and it angled sharply upward. The kids hiked in single file, with Josh leading and Dink left in line. Fallen trees, roots poking out of the ground. And jagged rocks made walking difficult. I don't see any trail at all, Josh wailed. And they stopped to look around. High above their heads, tall trees blocked out the sky. I think we should just keep going up. Rose said. If we get out of these trees, we might be able to see that one Abby showed us. They kept climbing. They could hear Josh and Rose taking deep breaths. He was sweating and swatting at mosquitoes. After about 20 minutes, Josh stopped. It's better not be much farther, he panted. It's not. Look, Rose said. She pointed uphill behind Josh. It's in that tree, Dink said. We're almost there. It took them 10 more minutes for climbing before they were standing at the base of the tree. Josh turned and waved his arms high in the air in case Abby was watching. Near that tree stood a pile of giant boulders. Behind the tree, the land stopped downward toward a cliff. It's beautiful up here, Dink said. You can see for miles, Rose said. Look how blue the water is. And look how dark those clouds are. Josh said nervously. I sure don't want to be up here in this thunderstorm. The kids split up and walked among the rocks and boulders. It took only a few seconds for Dink to find animal tracks in the sand. Guys, over here, he called. Josh and Rose found him on his knees. Look, are these wolf tracks? Josh and Rose knelt next to Dink. They do look like paw prints, Rose said, studying the sandy ground. Josh put his own hand next to paw prints. Look how big these tracks are, he said. Rose pointed to some shoe prints. Do you think these are the kidnappers' prints? She asked. Maybe, Dink said. But other people must come up here too. The kids prowled among the rocks. They found animal tracks, but no more from human tracks. Just stopped in front of two rock slabs leaning against each other. Beneath the rocks, a burrow had been dug, leaving a mound of loose dirt. Guys, I think I found it then, Josh whispered. The kids knelt and peered into the dark layer. What layer? What if the mother wolf is down there right now? Josh asked. Suddenly, they hear a wolf howl. All three kids jumped back. Run! Yelled Josh. She's not down here. There, Rose said. Look. The mother wolf was standing on top of the pile of boulders about 100 yards away. She was watching the kids with her ears standing straight up. While the kids looked at her, she let out another howl, then leaped off the rocks and disappeared. What should we do? Josh asked Josh. Nothing, Dink said. I think she's just looking for her babies. Let's move away from her later in case she comes. Rose said. Dink and Josh followed Rose. They walked toward the cliff and stood looking down the ocean. The ground there was too rocky to shoot any kinds of prints. I wonder how that man and woman got the baby wolves out there, Dink said. In a cage, Josh reminded. Remember what Abby said? I know. But what did they do with the cage? Dink said. Cars can drive up here, so how did they get the cage away? By the boat, maybe. Roosevelt said, pointing down the ground. Look, not 5 feet away from where they stood, a narrow path led down toward the water. We'll continue the chapter 6 tomorrow. See you next time. Bye bye.